Imagine this, 8 editors, the same footage and $1,000 prize on the line. But here's the twist, the end results are wildly different. Third place gets $150, second takes $350, and the winner walks away with $500. I'll be picking the winners and breaking down exactly what makes each edit work or not, so you can steal the tricks and level up your own skills. Let's get into it. And the first one is Aioi. Some creators make it look effortless, publishing their content everywhere and still maintaining high quality. But what you don't always see is their workflow. When you're juggling 3 different apps just to record, edit, and repurpose a single podcast, Riverside is the all-in-one platform that does it all. Every guest is recorded locally on their own device, which means you get up to 4K video and uncompressed audio. And you can easily remove filler words, silences, awkward pauses, all by the push of a button thanks to their built-in AI editor. And the best part, you can turn one long recording into multiple clips for TikTok, Reels, Shorts, whatever you need instantly. So instead of bouncing between apps, everything happens in one clean flow. From idea to full content rollout is possible with Riverside. Oof. Oi, oi, oi. Great first contestant. Let's go through your reactions first. Damn nice. Cool concept. The solid W. Nice. That's something new. We're going to have some competition. I do think so. I completely agree. Great concepts. Yeah, I agree too. That I really noticed that too. So like the ideas are super nice, like with the juggling, but I love the concept. I think there's like some rough edges around it that you can smooth out a bit. So super cool. Maybe could have been a bit more smooth, but really nice. Yeah, super cool concept also with the bloop. Yeah, this is a bit low res. This was really nice. Okay, something needs to happen, right? You're clicking this button, or the button needs to like bloop down or something. Like something needs to happen here, and I felt like nothing really happened here. Button thanks to their built-in AI editor, and the best. And then also this, just missing a bit more smoothness. What you could have done is just dragged it a bit more forward, so it just starts a bit earlier, and then this AI producer comes up, and I would also make sure that this is a bit more smooth. I also noticed, I think you scaled the rounded rectangle. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks a bit scaled in the edges. And also this font, like with the question mark, that threw me off a bit. This should just be like a sans serif font, like a modern font. And then also the positioning, small things, right? But that's why I'm saying it's like these rough edges. But what you could do is move this question mark and move it just a bit more so it's centered, so the sides on the right and the top are the same. And it will just make it look way more clean. You can also add a bit of noise over this just to make the bending a bit less. And there's also, like, again, the concepts are super great, which is actually most difficult part. Like a lot of editors struggle with finding good ideas or finding things. But the fact that you like grabbed like this square and like split it up in 3, that's amazing. Like cool concept, and it changes into those icons. I think that's really nice. But then in terms of design, then I would have smoothed down these keyframes a bit and maybe have like a really like a soft mask over this so they blend a bit more, you know. Whatever you need instantly. So instead of bouncing between apps. And there's also bouncing between apps and then making the eye of the instantly, like that's so creative. I love that. As some of you know, I'm a bit tired of these guys. We've seen them a bit too much, these illustrations. Me too. You can make the text bounce as well. Yeah, that's also a great idea. Aruf, I joined editing after these guys' era was dead. Like I said, great concepts. I think just in terms of design, there's some small improvements, right? I think it's like a solid 8 here, I would say. And the next one is Michael. Some creators make it look effortless, publishing their content everywhere and still maintaining high quality. But what you don't always see is their workflow. When you're juggling 3 different apps just to record, edit, and repurpose a single podcast, Riverside is the all-in-one platform that does it all. Every guest is recorded locally on their own device, which means you get up to 4K video and uncompressed audio. And you can easily remove filler words, silences, awkward pauses, all by the push of a button thanks to their built-in AI editor. And the best part, you can turn one long recording into multiple clips for TikTok, Reels, Shorts, whatever you need instantly. So instead of bouncing between apps, everything happens in one clean flow. From idea to full content rollout is possible with Riverside. Really nice. Clean. We enjoyed the edits. Looks very nice. Looks super clean. I agree. Bro improved so much while editing this video. Yeah, I completely agree. So nice. Yeah, you know, like I think this is a prime example of like you don't need crazy, like a lot of editing, especially for long form. Why I'm saying it is like at certain moments it's just showing the UI and like slow movements, which I think is perfect for an ad. Like this could be a good YouTube ad because it doesn't have to be super high pace. You can just have some slow movements as long as the scene looks cool. Let's go through it a bit. For example, this looks super clean, you know. Maybe I would have wished to have this a bit more soft, but okay, cool. It's still a nice way to show the icons, you know. This part. There's also like slow scale. And of course, we're looking at the logo, but there's still some movement in it. And that's totally fine. This was really nice too. I would have scaled it already a bit earlier. This I really liked. Yeah, then here I was missing some smoothness. This went quite rough. So just a bit of easing here. And then also here, that threw me off also. I think you tried to make a match cut, but something went wrong there. But your match cuts are actually on point. So yeah, you know how to do it. Super nice too. Cool glass effect. Ooh, it's already get difficult because like I would say they're quite similar to each other. Like there's some design improvements. Yeah, I don't know about the music. There's some keyframes that needs more smoothness. Exactly. In terms of design, he can improve too. Yeah, A tier. I'm seeing a lot of A tiers. I'm also thinking about A tiers, but I already am comparing these two. But we can also make the decision later on. A lot of A tiers. Simon, I think it's an A, but a bit higher than the previous one. Bit less feedback. But there were also less animations. That always is difficult. But like I mentioned, doesn't always have to be like full of animations, full of crazy editing. It fits the brand, so that is also important. Especially with those like tracks, I think that looks really cool. Made it look like a cool YouTube ad. You know what? I'm just gonna put it in A tier for now, and then we'll keep it like this. Less is more, Alexander. Well, exactly. That is true to a certain extent, by the way. What if everyone ends on A tier? Well, that hasn't happened before, but it is always difficult. Like basically, I move people around, and there's always some differences. We get free pizza from Tom from A tier, and then we're gonna move things around. Exactly. All right. Next one is Simon. Some creators make it look effortless, publishing their content everywhere and still maintaining high quality. But what you don't always see is their workflow. When you're juggling 3 different apps just to record, edit, and repurpose a single podcast, Riverside is the all-in-one platform that does it all. Every guest is recorded locally on their own device, which means you get up to 4K video and uncompressed audio. And you can easily remove filler words, silences, awkward pauses, all by the push of a button thanks to their built-in AI editor. And the best part, you can turn one long recording into multiple clips for TikTok, Reels, Shorts, whatever you need instantly. So instead of bouncing between apps, everything happens in one clean flow. From ID to full content rollout is possible with Riverside. Oh, fully Apple style. I really liked it. It's like super like minimalistic, the designs, but it's super nice. I really enjoyed that, Simon. Especially this scene, right? Where it went from this like, that's hot. That is hot. That one was a bit short, by the way. Like I was like, okay, that you should have dragged it out a bit. But other than that, like really clean. The music is on point too. Great sound design. I really agree. Dang, Simon, that's smooth as butter. Use that Hermosi interview. Yeah, I like that too. It was really creative. That's nice. Great pacing. I agree. Really nice. Oh yeah. So Simon, this is definitely an F tier. No, I mean, I don't have much feedback at all. The only thing I would say maybe is like, okay, I know Simon is also good at like this Apple style. So I'm like also critical on that, meaning that like it would have been cool if you tried out some different styles or maybe a bit of like less Apple UI. But then I'm being really critical because there's no feedback except that the only thing I had with the scene that it should have been a bit longer. So I'm going to put it on S tier. Let's go. S stands for Simon. Exactly. I still don't understand why Simon isn't making 10 to 20K a month. Maybe he is. You never know. All right. Simon S tier. Let's go. Let's see if someone is going to beat him from the S tier, from the throne. And the next one is Philippe. Some creators make it look effortless, publishing their content everywhere and still maintaining high quality. But what you don't always see is their workflow. When you're juggling 3 different apps just to record, edit, and repurpose a single podcast, Riverside is the all-in-one platform that does it all. Every guest is recorded locally on their own device, which means you get up to 4K video and uncompressed audio. And you can easily remove filler words, silences, awkward pauses, all by the push of a button thanks to their built-in AI editor. And the best part, you can turn one long recording into multiple clips for TikTok, Reels, Shorts, whatever you need instantly. So instead of bouncing between apps, everything happens in one clean flow. From ID to full content rollout is possible with Riverside. Ooh, so dramatic, the ending. Right, we got to see young Tom in here. What? Not that young, right? Or Philippe, you did really well. I really saw like some really nice things. I think like some really good animations and some things that I think like, okay, you could improve it a bit. What I see, for example, is like, I love this concept. I think this is so awesome. But then what threw me off is that this picture is a bit like lower resolution, which might be difficult to get like a nice high-res resolution. However, what you can do is maybe just find a waveform. You know, it doesn't have to be the exact waveform. There's also a lot of text here with the subtitles. You don't need that. You know, like it can be simple. And also with the 3D, I think it's awesome that you like try to integrate that. But that also is like comparing to your 2D animation. For example, this looks super cool. I would have actually dragged this out a bit. I also love the cards that you made before. Let's see if we can find that. Here, the color threw me off a bit. But yeah, here. So if you are going to use 3D, you want it to blend nicely. Now it really looks like a separate flat element. Especially if I pause it, you can see it. And to blend it more, you pre-compose it and you or mask it a bit or add an overlay over it or make it a bit darker or add some grain to it to blend it a bit, because now it's really flat. As you can see, it looks like a flat object. And what you can also do is play with lights. So assuming that you did this in After Effects, what you can do is like add a soft spotlight on it, and that will add some shadow to it, and that will make it a bit less flat and add some bit of like depth to it and a bit of contrast, and that will really help. And same with this text under it. If you want to add some depth to it, then maybe this camera should cast like a shadow on this. Then again, what I probably would have done is, it's really good that you're experimenting with 3D, but then I would have left the 3D out. Or like I said, make sure that it's like nicely blended and that there's a bit of contrast in this image. Because like I said, it's now really flat. I think with the headphones are a bit better because like maybe it's also the model and the lighting, but still I think you can blend this a bit nicer also. This was really dope. So for example, clips for TikTok, Reels, Shorts, whatever you need. Yeah, you can see that you've got skills. Like this looks really nice with the 2D animation. It's super smooth too. So you don't have any issues with that. And that was cool too. So Philippe, I think I do have a bit more feedback than Aioi. I hope I say your name right, by the way. Aioi and Michael. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put Philippe on B tier because I have to compare it. I have to compare it to the other two contestants. What are you guys saying? It's an A, but comparing to others, it's more of a B. Yeah, that's a good point. B, yep. Okay, I'm glad you guys are agreeing with me. It's always scary. Chantal is saying, I agree. Okay, that's great. Philippe, thanks for the feedback. That was my first animation in After Effects. Also, that was good practice. That's great, man. And you're taking it well. I really appreciate that. Because like I know it's really difficult, and I like you're submitting to the public. Everyone is seeing it, and I'm giving you feedback. And yeah, feedback is not always nice, of course. So for a first time, it's crazy, and I love that you're picking it up really well. I really appreciate that. That's nice. The only way is up, right? That is damn good for the first time. Exactly. A really nice edit. First time is crazy. It is crazy. Also with the 3D objects already, and you already had some smoothness down, and you already had some so like, yeah, it's easy to go up from this. The next one is Nitas. Some creators make it look effortless, publishing their content everywhere and still maintaining high quality. But what you don't always see is their workflow. When you're juggling 3 different apps just to record, edit, and repurpose a single podcast, Riverside is the all-in-one platform that does it all. Every guest is recorded locally on their own device, which means you get up to 4K video and uncompressed audio. And you can easily remove filler words, silences, awkward pauses, all by the push of a button thanks to their built-in AI editor. And the best part, you can turn one long recording into multiple clips for TikTok, Reels, Shorts, whatever you need instantly. So instead of bouncing between apps, everything happens in one clean flow. From ID to full content rollout is possible with Riverside. Ooh, such a different style. I think it's really cool to see. Yeah, really cool. What are you guys saying? Something new, unique? Didn't expect this. Cool style. I agree. It was almost like a bit like video game style, also with the sound effect. I really liked this design. I think this is really dope. And also, I really like the cards. I think those were really cool too. I really love this scene too with the cards. Our first animation caught my eye. Let's see. So a couple of things I see. First animation really stands out. A bit more SaaS type of ad as we see. I noticed something on cards. First animation caught me. Yeah, I think you shouldn't change anything on your style because I think it's really dope. It's super different. I really enjoy that. Creators make it look effortless. I do think that some things can be improved. So generally, fonts with serif. So these are serif fonts. They just look a bit less like premium and luxurious than non-serif fonts. And that is just because they're like a little bit more old school and then they fit a bit more with the old school. So you're using like quite a modern UI and then you're mixing it with like these old school fonts. And I think if you just change the fonts, then this would look completely different. You maybe don't even have to change that much in the UI, but just changing the fonts, I think will make a big difference. And then also, I don't know what this 15 plus is in the top, but that's also something you can center or maybe even leave out, I would say. Publishing their content everywhere. And then here, everything is modern. And by the way, this YouTube UI, it looks really cool. It looks super clean. I would have probably maybe add a bit more spacing around the video. It's a bit too tight now. Like it's cramped. I need some space, man. Give me some space. But other than that, it's super clean. And here also you can see like using the modern fonts, it makes it look nice. Still maintaining high quality. Then here you're going back to the serif font. Again, I think changing that font will already make a big difference. And then also sometimes you don't have to like add a lot of info to it. It will also save a lot of time. So for example, this what's happening, I would have just leave that out. And maybe even this, because if you have the search Twitter bar, you already have the Twitter UI. So you know this is Twitter. You don't have to add a lot more information to it. And then having too much information also makes it look a bit cluttered. And then like your eyes go here, you're thinking like, oh, what's happening? I see something with COVID, you know? So like, that's what I mean. Like it can sometimes also distract a bit and just save time. You don't always have to do the whole UI. You could even on the left side, you have home, explore, notifications, messages. And it's really cool that you did all that UI, but you can also just have like home and profile, you know? So you don't always have to have everything. I see, yeah, agreed. Spacing, sound effects a bit loud, some rough keyframes. Yeah, that's also a good summary. Sound effects also, they were a bit too loud generally. I like the music though. I was like happy it was like a bit of Mario's type of thing. And I think that's also cool. That fit the vibe. You chose the right sound effects and music. Here I don't mind the font usage that much because it's just separate on its own, you know. Maybe we would have dialed down this glow a bit. And also with these light sweeps. They're quite rough. I like how the YouTube icon looks. Here you can see like you use like a soft light sweep, and here you can see quite a harsh light sweep on the Instagram logo. But this was super dope. I love this animation too. Again, I think this would have looked nicer, and I don't know, of course, you have to test this around, but this would have looked nicer with a more modern font. And then here also, I think you have like a deep glow over the whole image, which is fine. Like it adds a bit of like a sauce over it. But again, I would have dialed it down a bit. Or what you can do is add a curves to it, because what you can clearly see is that you added a deep glow and it changes the colors. It always makes the colors a bit whitish. Like you can see it here. And it almost looks a bit like someone put a bit of like Vaseline on the lens. If you dial it down a bit, or you add like a curve editor and you add a bit more contrast to it, I think it will look a bit nicer. Other than that, I think the cards, they're almost a bit like Pokemon cards with the 3D space. I think it's actually really cool. Content rollout is possible with Riverside. And I really like that too. The pling with the sound effects that fit the vibe too. Spacing makes it more look more premium. Exactly. Twitter's a bit of clutter, but the overall edit was good. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like sometimes you don't have that much need to have so much elements. You can just turn them off. As long as it like represents it, right? Like that you can recognize that it's Twitter. But with Twitter, you can also already have a logo, a search bar, and then the profile, and then you know it's Twitter. And with YouTube, the red logo and the player, and then you also know that it's YouTube. So that's the nice thing about these platforms is people know what it looks like. But even like if you want to make the Riverside platform, you make an audio waveform and you have a video, and maybe like a play or something, but then you know that we're talking about Riverside. Put the Riverside logo above it, save some time so you don't have to animate everything. Ooh, this one is difficult because it's really different. Wrote, and they have a Figma UI kits as well that you can use because creating UIs from scratch really takes a lot of time. Yeah, exactly, 100%. I hate like making everything from scratch. Nitas, A tier, B tier. I'm feeling A tier or B tier. What are you guys saying? Between A and B tier? I mean, you gave us 10 plus days. That is also true, but still, I know everyone. Everyone is busy and like probably does it in the last 2 days. Low A and upper B. That doesn't exist, guys. That's funny. It's either a low A or an upper B. Yeah, I'm feeling the same. Alexandra, I feel like those who are on A now fit the brand a bit better. And though it is an A tier on its own, I would say invent a letter and put them on there. It's a great idea. Yeah, I'm going to put him in A tier for now. Yeah, I'm going to put him in A tier for now. We have 3 people in A tier. I'll move it around. We don't have that much. We cannot have 3 in A tier. Hey, I make the rules, the Robin. No, I'm joking. No, so we're gonna have three people in A tier, but that's fine. I'll move things around after. Simon, you're gonna have a hard time deciding at the end. Exactly. But that's fine. That's fine. That's always the case anyway. Alexander, it's never easy, ever. That is also true. That is also true. And the next one is Tamas. Some creators make it look effortless, publishing their content everywhere and still maintaining high quality. But what you don't always see is their workflow. When you're juggling 3 different apps just to record, edit, and repurpose a single podcast, Riverside is the all-in-one platform that does it all. Every guest is recorded locally on their own device, which means you get up to 4K video and uncompressed audio. And you can easily remove filler words, silences, awkward pauses, all by the push of a button thanks to their built-in AI editor. And the best part, you can turn one long recording into multiple clips for TikTok, Reels, Shorts, whatever you need instantly. So instead of bouncing between apps, everything happens in one clean flow. From ID to full content rollout is possible with Riverside. Oh, it's amazing. The ideas and the concepts are crazy. And I think it's also like nice and clean. However, like the smoothness, like if you had that down, this would have like really like, would have been crazy. So let's go through it. Yeah, so a lot of movements are quite harsh, right? Just having them a bit more smooth, easing them, like dragging the keyframes out, that will already help a lot. I love that transition. I think that's so creative and we haven't seen that before. So yeah, credits for that. I love it. Riverside is the all-in-one platform that does it all. This was a bit too long on the logo. If you keep it this long, that's totally fine, but just make it slowly zoom in. This was also super cool. And then again, with this, I think you can improve the design a bit. Like these lines, I would have probably turned the strokes down and maybe have like a soft gradient over them to make these like things look a bit more clean. Then also with this search, a bit pixelated because it's probably a screenshot, or make it smaller. That's the solution. Or just add the text search on it. Alexander, crazy potential. So cool to see new people crushing it. I totally agree. So again, you can make this design just look a bit more premium. And I've said this before, if you search on Dribbble and you search audio waveform or layers or blocks, things like that, you'll see like what I mean with the design. But super creative. I love that it presses the remove button. It snaps everything into place. And I love the concept. It's really great. AI editor. And the best part, you can turn one long recording into multiple. And again, also this, the keyframe of this camera movement, if you would have started that a bit earlier or it ends a bit later, then this animation would have been a bit more nice to watch. Because now we're watching quite long at this bar. Then again, concepts are great. It picks up the things out of this long bar. This looked really clean with the design. I love the concept too of like bouncing around. But then also this is like, yeah, like it's really rough. It just ends. The ball is like, it stops. And there's no movement here. But then again, this concept to turn this into the logo, I think that was so smart. I love it. It's great. It's so nice that you thought of that. Yeah, really nice. I compromise on some design elements. Moving to Hungary after this one. What was Alexander saying? Thomas, I was running out of time towards the end, so I had to compromise on some design elements. That makes sense. Alexandra, Simon, you now need to mentor this guy and hire him for your agency. Exactly. But yeah, like the concepts are amazing. So I love the ideas. I love the creativity, the transitions. But the design, I think it needs some improvement, and the smoothness. It's so cool to see because like it's funny, right? Because in a lot of editing challenges, it's either people are having a difficult time with the ideas and are really good at animation, or the other way around. So it's like people are really good at the ideation, but then like there's some improvements to be made with the editing. So I think this should be an A tier. Alexandra, this is yet another A tier. Exactly. Yeah, we have to move things around. So my feeling, and I'm gonna make some decisions now because it's getting too crazy. It's getting too cozy in the A tier. So I would say I think Michael's, comparing those like all four, is probably in terms of the design fitting the brand and the animation, I would say probably is like the most A tier. I'm just gonna have to move people around. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put you on B tier, Nitas also, and then Tamas also. And I have to check Michael again to know for a fact if this is an A tier or not, because I'm not sure. But this is just what my memory is saying. Simon, agree with the ranking. Okay, makes sense. ID and creativity A, but premium feel more like B. Yeah, makes sense. Now we have the same issue with B tier. Yeah, we will. But maybe Aruf and Rohit will make it easier. I don't know. Is this normal? That's a good question, Robin. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, Simon, why are you saying this? You're getting off too easily now. You're putting the pressure on me, Robin. That's good. Alexandra, I know we've never had such a problem with the ranking. Thanks, Alexandra. All lies. The next one is Aruf. Some creators make it look effortless, publishing their content everywhere and still maintaining high quality. But what you don't always see is their workflow. When you're juggling 3 different apps just to record, edit, and repurpose a single podcast, Riverside is the all-in-one platform that does it all. Every guest is recorded locally on their own device, which means you get up to 4K video and uncompressed audio. And you can easily remove filler words, silences, awkward pauses, all by the push of a button thanks to their built-in AI editor. And the best part, you can turn one long recording into multiple clips for TikTok, Reels, Shorts, whatever you need instantly. So instead of bouncing between apps, everything happens in one clean flow. From ID to full content rollout is possible with Riverside. Oh, really nice. A roof is on fire. Oh, that was such a bad joke. No, really nice. Really nice. Yeah, it looked like Samsung loved the concept. He's burning the kitchen down. Yeah, the roof is on fire. Let's see. Yeah, so I think this is like an example of like the editing was really good. But I think some ideas were also really good. I love this concept, but some ideas I would have said like, yeah, don't get me wrong, I love the Apple animation, but it felt a bit off because I was like thinking like, okay, navigation. I get what you mean with it. It's like, okay, you publish it everywhere, but it is like a navigation. You know what I mean? And it looks cool. It's a cool edit, and again, you can really edit, but this concept was a bit off. Still maintaining high quality. This looks really dope though. I like how you did the text with the soft gradients above it. It's nice. This was really dope with the video in the center. This is dope too. I think this concept is super nice, like super creative too. Like I haven't seen something like this, you know? And this was super nice too. Instead of bouncing through apps, it went like through all the apps. I love that. I really love that. Sometimes I wish you maybe again dialed down the glow a bit in certain effects. Like I think it's fine on the text, for example, but this again was super creative too. Raw storytelling is the next level. I agree. It's really cool. Yeah, I thought it was really good. But there were some improvements, some concepts that I saw that didn't really make sense. I'm feeling, I had less feedback with Simon, and Simon did play more safe, I would say, but there was less feedback. So I would say it is an A tier, and I would say it's better than Michael. So this does make it a bit easier to make this decision. And again, this is the thing, right? Like we have to compare things. That's just the downside of the editing challenge. Is like I'm not seeing these in a vacuum just separately. So I have to compare things, and then I would say that Michael is then a B tier, which maybe normally it wouldn't be, or maybe it would be like even an S tier if Aruf and Simon didn't submit their video. Alexandra, we haven't seen Rohit yet. We haven't. Fine. Sorry, Aruf. Please forgive me your insane skills. I agree. I'm excited for Rohit. Me too, the last submission. Rohit, agree with the tier for now. For now you do, until we watch your video. Aruf, 2 months of After Effects still. That is also well, man. 2 months. It's crazy. I love to see that. Like, I really love to see that. Like this improvement, man, oh man. And also, just want to say is like this level of edit. If you dial some things down, is more like taking things away than like adding a lot of things, or a lot of like editing skills that you're missing or something. But with this, you can already make a lot of money. Like you can already get clients and you work for them and you make these types of animations. I'm sure they're happy, you know. So 2 months. Rohit, you saw my edit already, so you know what's coming. Excuse me, you're already sharing stuff. Rohit already asked Alexandra, do put me in S tier. I look at the chat and I already see Alexandra say S tier before the video even started. And what kind of betrayal? What is this? And the next one is Rohit. Some creators make it look effortless, publishing their content everywhere and still maintaining high quality. But what you don't always see is their workflow. When you're juggling 3 different apps just to record, edit, and repurpose a single podcast, Riverside is the all-in-one platform that does it all. Every guest is recorded locally on their own device, which means you get up to 4K video and uncompressed audio. And you can easily remove filler words, silences, awkward pauses, all by the push of a button thanks to their built-in AI editor. And the best part, you can turn one long recording into multiple clips for TikTok, Reels,
Nice.
whatever you need instantly. So instead of bouncing between apps, everything happens in one clean flow. From ID to full content rollout is possible with Riverside.
Oof, Rohit, crazy. Your improvement has been crazy too.
I love this design that you made. I really love it. I love the colors. I think it's really awesome. Yeah, super nice. What are you guys saying? Love the moving gradients. I completely agree. I'm still not satisfied in some parts though. I mean, that's fair. Like, let's be honest. Like, everyone has that. Like, I also have that with every edit. The color text is a bit off for me. Okay, interesting. Damn, S tier, Alexandra. Now I don't believe you anymore. No, I'm joking. A tier. Okay. Let's go through it. So let's start out. This was really cool. No feedback on that. Maybe a bit too much deep glow, but it fits the vibe. So, okay, cool. Yeah, I was missing a bit of like smoothness or motion blur here. Like it feels a bit too rough. I don't know how. But I love this logo animation. I think it's really clean. Cool background, small scale, like all the things that I love to see. This was really dope too. The transition was really nice. Again, this felt a bit rough. I think you could have eased that a bit or add motion blur, one of those. Really nice. I love the color gradient too. And again, you don't always have to do a lot of like special effects or something. It's like just showing the UI is enough. Yeah, this font choice, I would have gone for a modern font here too. And maybe like a soft dark gradient to make it pop a bit more. Yeah, but that's just a stylistic choice, right? Yeah, same feedback with the font and animation. Okay, cool. This was 3D, but the card looks like it's not moving due to the gradient. Makes sense. And -1 for not putting in Tom's video. I don't mind about that. Unless it's the competitor, which we've seen before. I thought the brand will use the video, so I kept it mostly in mind. No, that makes sense. Yeah, that was interesting. Like even with the colors, Alexandra. Oi, Rohit. You are making it really difficult. Because it's like, so Simon went fully into the Apple style and all the animations look really clean. The concepts were great. However, Rohit, I think, fits the brand a bit more. I think there's some improvements in terms of like design and animation, which I didn't have with Simon. But again, it does fit the brand a bit better. And it's also less like the Apple style, which I think is also maybe a bit safer for the brand, you know. I'm going to put Rohit for now in A tier. But yeah, Rohit could be an S tier too. Tom doesn't want to choose. That's definitely true. You're going to make me shit my pants by putting me into S tier. I don't know if I then should do it or not. Okay, do you guys want to see Rohit shit his pants? Let's vote on that. All right, I'm going to make a decision. I've seen enough. I'm gonna make a decision. I'm going to put Rohit on A tier and I'm going to put a roof on B tier. I'm going to move these down. Move these down. And I'm going to keep Simon on S tier. And then I'm going to lock it in. Then a big thank you to Riverside for sponsoring this video. Their link is in the description. Then if you want to join this editing challenge too and become a full stack editor, do join the community. Link of that is also in the description. Then don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.